now.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. So we are the group run. So our movie analysis is The 100-Foot Journey.
And I'm NORSU HKBU.
I'm Gao Changyu.
I'm Tung.
And I'm Gracie Lepcha.
And I'm Nica Empeso.
I'm Gevie Rusiana.
I'm Desiree Jayne Ventula.
I'm Cresa Sambayon.
Okay, so our topic outline is first the introduction, cultural context, character analysis, visual analysis, and conclusion. Next slide, please. Okay, so let's start first with the introduction. So the 100-Foot Journey begins when Papa Kadam loses his wife and family restaurant in a devastating fire. He decides to leave his home in Mumbai and take his family to Europe. While traveling across Europe, Papa Kadam discovers a dilapidated restaurant in the south of France. He decides it will make the perfect venue for the new Kadam family restaurant, Maison Mumbai. But unfortunately for Papa Kadam, 100 feet across the road is French restaurant Les Salles Pleureur, owned by Madame Mallory. Madame Mallory is horrified at the thought of having a traditional Indian restaurant across the road from her Michelin star business. Papa Kadam and Madame Mallory clash and try to sabotage each other. Next slide. Fortunately, things start to change when Papa Kadam's son, Hassan, who is culinary genius, develops a romantic friendship with Madame Mallory's sauce chef, Margaret. Margaret lends Hassan several French cookbooks. Hassan quickly masters them and tries to use his new skills to win over Madame Mallory. When local bigots set fire to Maison Mumbai in an attempt to run Papa Kadam and his family out of town, Madame Mallory is outraged. This is the start of a new friendship with the Kadams.
For the cultural context, the film presents India's food culture, family structure, and clothing culture. Firstly, regarding food culture, the Kadam family is a Muslim family that runs a restaurant in Mumbai. From the western coast of India, Mumbai is known as the traditional spices trade route. Spices are the soul of Indian cuisine for them. People from Mumbai extensively use spices in dishes such as coriander, cinnamon, and cumin. From the upper left corner, there is a picture showing that the types of spices that Hassan's mother left to him from before she was alive. Hassan treasured it very much. It can be seen from this that spices are essential to the food culture of Mumbai people. As I've mentioned, the family is Muslim. Among the many dietary restrictions for Muslims, one of them is that they can't drink alcohol. However, there is some controversy about whether this restriction applies to alcohol use in cooking. 4 pictures from the lower left corner show Hassan and his brother's conversation. When they are running out of time for preparation, Hassan recommends marinating lamb in red wine. But his brother objected because Muslims are not allowed to use alcohol neither for eating or drinking. In this dialogue, we can see that his brother is keen to obey the restriction, but Hassan believes that they must adapt to develop their restaurant successfully in a foreign country. Indians also eat without utensils and only use their right hand. Because the left hand is usually used for cleaning, it is considered unclean. So in the movie, Hassan holds the soup his mother cooked with his right hand. Secondly, Indians attach great importance to family and are known for their large families. Generally, families have 3 to 4 generations living together. In the movie, the Kadam family has 3 generations living together. Since they attach great importance to family, they are very sincere towards their family. Most Indian children will engage in their parents' careers when they grow up. For this reason, Indians advocate family business. with sons inheriting their father's business. So in the movie, Hassan helped his father run the restaurant with his brother. Even though Hassan became an excellent chef in Paris, he returned to Saint Anthony to earn a third Michelin star with his family and friends. Moreover, India is a patriarchal society. The father makes the final decision on all matters in the family. The decision-making power rests with the eldest son if the father is absent. While the Kadam family was finding a foothold in France, their vehicle broke down. When the children complained, Papa Kadam insisted on opening an Indian restaurant in France, and they could only listen to their father's words. The father is highly respected in the family. Thirdly, Indian clothing is unique. Hassan's sister wore a sari when promoting their restaurant in the market, during restaurant opening, and at the dinner party. A sari is an unstitched strip of cloth wrapped around the wrist, draped over the shoulder, and exposing the stomach. Women usually wear it on special occasions. Papa Kadam wore a kurta and a Gandhi cap when opening the restaurant. Kurta is a loose or tight shirt falling above or below the knees. It can be daily wear or formal wear. However, because they all dress up for the restaurant opening, it is evident that they take this event very seriously.
Next, I will introduce French culture. The first is gourmet culinary aspect. First, French cuisine focuses on culinary skill, and many classic dishes use complex cooking methods such as baking, steaming, stewing, and so on. Secondly, chefs are often highly trained and master a variety of techniques in pursuit of perfect taste and plating. Third, French cuisine emphasizes the use of fresh, local ingredients and respects the changing seasons. Fourth, French bread and dessert culture is rich and diverse, including baguettes, croissants, macarons, and cream puffs. Thus, in dining, the preparing of wine with food is seen as an art, and the French choose the appropriate wine according to the dish, and French is famous for its wines. Another aspect is dining habit and etiquette. First, the French usually enjoy long meal times, emphasizing the presentation and enjoyment of food, and promoting the slow food culture, which sees the table as an important place for social and family gatherings. Second, the formal dinner includes multiple courses, from appetizers to desserts, each with its own unique pairing and presentation. Third, etiquette during meals, such as the way utensils are used and the seating arrangements at the table, show respect for food and companions. In the beginning, the Indian family and the local French restaurant see each other as enemies, but gradually they understand each other and become friends. So how did they blend with French culture? First, Madame Malory and her chefs looked down on India's culture before. She thinks Indian music is loud and Indian food only has curry, and she denies Hassan's cooking skills and threw his dish into the rubbish bin. But now, Malory invites Hassan to work at her restaurant. She thanks Hassan for earning her restaurant a second Michelin star, and she holds a dinner party at Papa Kadam's restaurant and providing French food. Secondly, Papa Kadam used to be stubborn. He cooked traditional Indian cuisines, refusing to incorporate French characteristics. Now, Papa Kadam allowed Hassan to work at Madame Moller's restaurant. Last, in the beginning, they didn't speak French well and couldn't communicate when their car broke down. And then they began to study hard in French, translating French into English to study.
Moving on to the character analysis, we have Hassan Kadam. Hassan Kadam is a young Indian chef, embodies the adaptability and resilience of his heritage, bringing his family's recipes to France. Despite the lacking formal culinary training, he challenges the rigid tradition of French cuisine, demonstrating the potential for change and acceptance. Throughout the movie, Hassan's character grows as he learns to merge his Indian heritage with French culinary traditions. His willingness to experiment with new techniques and flavors ultimately elevates him from a novice to a Michelin-starred chef. Next is Madame Mallory. Madame Mallory, a renowned French chef, embodies the pride and tradition of French culinary culture. Initially resistant to Hassan, she reflects a fear of change and perceived threat to her cultural identity. However, their eventual collaboration symbolizes the power of shared passion and the ability to bridge cultural divides through shared experiences. Their fusion represents the potential for growth and innovation that arises from interaction of different cultures, creating culinary style and transcends traditional boundaries. Madame Mallory's transformation highlights themes of acceptance and change. Her character shows that personal growth often involves letting go of pride and prejudice.
Okay. Next character would be Papa, which is the father of the main character. He's a very important presence in this movie because he mainly promoted most of the plot developments. Like the very first of the movie, his home was destroyed by the fire, and so he decided to move away and move to London and then move to France. Papa is a very stubborn, traditional, and serious person, and always think that he's the head of the family and the man in charge of the family. And there are quite a lot of clips in the movie that reflects about this. For example, in the early part of the movie, Papa insisted of buying the house across from the French restaurant and building an Indian restaurant. Even though his family is strongly opposed to it, he still insisted on doing it. And this reflects the Indian family's culture. In India, they attract great importance to manners of younger generation to the elder generations. For example, even though the child opposed Papa's purchase of the restaurant, but Papa still insisted on buying it, and the opinions of the other members of the family are not accepted at all. Even the decision to move from London to France are also Papa's own idea, and he just asked his family to follow it, which shows that the patriarchal authority has already been established, and the patriarchal power is deeply rooted in Indian culture. In addition, it's also mentioned the movie that Papa believed that the Indian tradition must be passed down through the family, which is why the latter part of the movie Papa refused to follow to allow his son to study in a French restaurant because he wants his sons to be able to learn about Indian food as an Indian, and that is only delicious if his son can follow the traditions and have been passed down. And in the end, Papa is willing to let go of his prejudice and agree to let his son to learn from the French restaurant owner. And in the end of the story, he's even willing to try French food, which brings out that the point that cultures should understand and respect each other and try to understand their each other in order to achieve the culture integrations.
So the fourth character is Marguerite, also known as the main character's lover. So for her analysis, Marguerite is kind. So she helped Hassan's family when they arrived in France and also when their car broke down. She took Hassan's family inside her home and fed them. And then she also lent some French books to Hassan for him to learn about French cuisines. And then the next one is she is one of the reasons why Hassan came back to the village. So even though Hassan has become an excellent and well-known chef, in the end, he returned to the village, the place where it all started, to be with his family and everyone he loves.
So next is visual analysis, and I'm going to focus on Khmer language. In this film, the use of lighting and color shapes the different culture of India and France, as well as the conflict that arises when the two cultures collided. In the shot about India, the colors used in the picture are warm, with a lot of red and yellow used to make the picture look very lively. On the one hand, that is because many Indian food are in red and yellow tones, so using this color of lighting to capture Indian food in the picture can efficiently make the audience feel the food culture from India. And when the shows about France, they are using cool tone lighting with strong white light as the main tone, making the color appear very simple. The color chosen, such as white and blue, it won't be brightly color as the shot taken in India, and it will evoke the elegance and pride of French culture in the audience. So how to use lighting as the next page, please. So how to use lighting as the Khmer language to shape the cultural conflict between the two cultures in the film. Let's take a look at the scenes of Hassan's family buying food ingredients at the French market. Before Hassan and Papa buying the ingredients, the entire market was bright. However, when Hassan and Papa want to integrate into the market and want to buy food from the market, the lighting immediately dimmed it. The market behind them was still lit up, but Hassan and Papa become darker, creating a contrast between light and dark. And the contrast also depicts a French culture which is resistant to Indian culture. When Hassan represented India, trying to integrate into French market, they were seen as the dark side, the one rejected by the French culture. Next slide, please. Then there is the rhythm of editing, which use fast and slow editing rhythm in the film to depict the conflict and integration of culture of two countries. At the peak of conflict between Hassan and Madame Mallory, in the scenes where they were cooking separately, the pace of editing was clearly very fast, showing the conflict and tension between the two restaurants, and also bring about conflict of mutual resistance between the two cultures at the time. When Hassan made omelette for Madame Mallory, it was also the scene of cooking, but the editing rhythm slowed down a lot, and there was a warm feeling. The editing rhythm helps the audience understand the function between Hassan and Madame Mallory in narrative, and the slow pace also shaped the gradual blending of the two cultures. Next slide, please. Finally, let's take a look at how mise-en-scène shaped the different food culture of India and France. Let's first take a look at the comparison between the two kitchens. In the footage of Hassan's kitchen, we can see many spices such as curry powder, mung bean, and yellow cardamom. The choice of these spices is between India is a country with spices as its culture, which allows the audience to directly feel the spices are the main focus of Indian cuisines. In Hassan's kitchen, the selection of ingredients and kitchenware placement is very casual, with things placed on the stove, which is sharp contrast to Madame Mallory's kitchen. In Mallory's kitchen, you can see that it's very simple and minimalistic, with everything tidy arranged. The minimalistic feeling will remind the audience that French cuisine is elegant, and the selection of many kitchen utensils remind the audience that French cuisine require a lot of heavy cooking progress, shape the simplicity rather than simple in French food culture. Next slide, please. In the shop of Indian food, we can see the selection of Indian-style pancakes and some bright colored sauces. In the scenes, everyone is eating in an Indian restaurant. with many dishes appear on the table at the same time. Customers are also sitting together like a gathering. The way guests eat is by picking up food with their hands. These are all presented in form of mise-en-scène, directly depicting the dining habits and food culture of Indians. In the sense of dining in French restaurant, we can see that the decoration inside the restaurant is very elegant and gorgeous, with historical oil painting, crystal lights, and candles. These choices all shape the atmosphere of French restaurant to be elegant. In terms of dining methods, we can see that French cuisines red wine as dining partner, and knife and forks are used. There are many dishes. There are not many dishes at the once on the table, but rather plates of dishes. The portion of the dishes are small and exquisite. This directly depicts the serving etiquette in the French food culture, with clear appetizers, main meal, and dessert. The culture of red wine on the table and the emphasis of food presentation are all using mise-en-scène to shape French food culture.
So, in conclusion, the movie of the 100-Foot Journey is a moving story that captures the significant cultural influence of food as a means of communications and understanding. So the film, which is set in a charming French village, skillfully combines the rich, spicy Indian food with the elegant, traditional French cooking flavors, signifying the larger themes of cultural conflict and peace. So the story of the Kadam family who opened an Indian restaurant next to a French restaurant with a Michelin star is a microcosm of the struggles and victories faced by immigrants. So the movie highlights the value of respecting and appreciating many customs through culinary competitions, ultimately demonstrating how food can act as a universal language that cuts beyond boundaries. So the movie inspired viewers to appreciate variety and the richness it adds to our lives, the relationships forged and the lessons discovered throughout the narrative promote a deeper understanding of multiculturalism. So by the end of the movie, the audience have a fresh understanding of how food can bring individuals from different regions together and create a feeling of belonging and shared identity.
And this is the end of our presentation. This is our web distribution. So thank you for listening.